I mean, so relieved. I mean, I think my party crossed a line of now putting 42 million Americans with their SNAP benefits and making flying less safe and that kinds of chaos and not paying our military. I mean, that was a red line for me that I can't cross.
The vote was a horrific mistake. Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. And I believe you are wrong.
Well, first of all,
I find that he probably has more in common with Donald Trump than he does with any of the Democrats in his party. He's very common sense. He's very straightforward. He wants to do the right thing.
And I don't need a lecture. I don't need a lecture from.
The cackling hens are at it again, ladies and gentlemen. The government shutdown is on the cusp of ending. The Democrats did vote inevitably. A few of them, 8 of them to be exact, voted with the Republicans to open back up the government in the Senate, and the House vote is expected to happen either tonight or early tomorrow, and the president obviously is going to sign it pretty much immediately. So the cackling hens on View are upset, at least most of them, especially Sonny Hostin, but she got cooked today by Senator John Fetterman out there in Pennsylvania. Okay, he was like, nah, you ain't about to be trying me. I don't need lectures from you, from Bernie Sanders. I don't need lectures from nobody. This man went off. Let's go ahead and react to it. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
Senator John Fetterman joined 7 other Democrats who broke ranks with the party and voted alongside Republicans. Good morning. Alyssa has the first question, sir.
Good morning, Senator. So you were critical.
Look, I just want to point out that this guy is lazy as hell. I thought he was going to be like in person. I didn't think he was going to do like one of these stupid little Zoom type meetings again, but let's keep going.
Why did you ultimately decide to support this agreement? And where do you stand on the growing number of Democrats who are calling for Leader Schumer to step down in light of the shutdown deal?
I effectively kind of led the charge now that it's wrong to shut our government down. When you're confronting mass chaos, you know, I don't think you should respond with more chaos or fight with more chaos. It's like, you know, we need to be the party of order.
Well, Sonny Hostin wants to be the party of opposition. She doesn't care how much chaos it is. She doesn't care if people can eat.
To gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. This after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition.
She doesn't care if people freaking lose their houses, get kicked out, like families with kids, grandkids. She doesn't care about none of that as long as she gets her way. Let's keep going.
And now I refuse to weaponize the SNAP benefit for 42 million Americans. We need to be the party of order and logic and now respond in a way. Or I refuse not to pay our military, making flying in America less safe. And all of the unions attached to all of this. And we have to have the ability to agree to disagree on some of these core issues right now. And now, right, for me, I think.
Well, the key thing here is that if you lose an election, you lost the election. You can't just shut the government down forever, which is what some people said. I saw somebody say that they should have shut it down, that this was just a person leaving a comment, but they said they should have shut it down until January. Can you imagine look at the chaos from just 40 days. January is like a freaking 100-day shutdown. I'm like, are you freaking stupid or something? Man, these people are nuts. You can't trust anybody who would think this was a good idea to begin with.
Bernie Sanders said the vote was a horrific mistake. Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight? Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. Poll after poll found more Americans on both sides of the aisle blaming Republicans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene blamed the GOP. Are you willing to gamble that the GOP will negotiate on health care in good...
This lady just hates the Republicans so bad. This is exactly who we don't need in government, where somebody just hates the political party, their opposition so badly that they're like, hey, it's necessary for you Americans to suffer. as long as we defeat the Republicans, like we just got to make you suffer just a couple more weeks. I mean, indefinitely, we don't really know how long, but just a couple more weeks. We just need to keep fighting. Meanwhile, Sonny Hostin is on The View, still getting paid. She doesn't work for the government. She doesn't rely on these benefits. She tried to say some people in her family rely on them. Like, okay, are they doing good? Are you helping pay for them? Because a lot of people don't have a Sonny Hostin in their family, so they don't have anybody to rely on, anybody to help them. And they can't just rely on food banks. You think there's enough food banks and stuff to support all the people who are hungry, and enough rental assistance and mortgage assistance to support these people who haven't been able to pay their freaking bills? Like, give me a break, lady.
Their health care costs will skyrocket if you are wrong. And I believe you are wrong.
Well, first of all, I don't need a lecture. I don't need a lecture from whether it's Bernie or the governor in California, because they are representing very deep blue kinds of populations, and a lot of those things were part of the extreme. And MTG is quite literally the last person in America that I'm going to take advice or to get their kinds of my leadership and values from. And now if Democrats are celebrating crazy pants like that, then that's on them. And now remember, what really needs to win, the big win, is involving my state and other states and those things.
He's
and
right.
Why have we arrived here?
He's right. Pennsylvania is a key state. Like, you can't just say, oh, well, we won in Virginia, in New Jersey, so why don't you just keep the shutdown going forever? Like, I don't understand, like, these people, it's like they're smart but stupid at the same time, because there's nothing that makes sense about taking deep blue places. Well, we won, so that means that they're okay with the shutdown. They're blaming the GOP. So why end the shutdown? Because Americans are suffering. It's not about who's to blame. It's about who's suffering. The American people are suffering, not even just the people who work for the government. They had literally thousands of flights canceled, over 10,000 flights canceled. That's insane. I've never seen anything like it. And one of the reasons is because they're like, well, we can't really guarantee the safety standards because there's less people in TSA, less air traffic controllers. So this lady's saying, well, hey, even though it's already gotten horrendous, let's let it get worse just because we really, really, really need to defeat the Republicans and make them look bad or make them feel bad or get those healthcare subsidies, which nobody knows if the Republicans would ever cave on that or if they would just take the nuclear option, which in my opinion, more than likely, rather than cave, they probably would just nuke the filibuster rather than, and that would certainly be my preference, rather than caving and letting radical people like Sonny Hostin get any little bit of satisfaction.
That's why I'm trying to remind people that kinds of the extremism, we can't return to those kind of things. Rather than cite MTG, I'm going to cite one of the new governor-elects saying that my election is not a green light to continue the shutdown.
Some in your party look at your election on Tuesday and the win in New Jersey and say that is permission to hold the line in Congress and refuse to fund the government or fold on the shutdown. Should congressional Democrats view your victory that way?
Absolutely not. The government needs to open, and it needs to open immediately. We need the president to demonstrate leadership, bringing people together, endeavoring to get through whatever negotiations need to get through, whether it's before or after.
Shout out to John Fetterman for being the voice of reason here. He still is a leftist, just not a radical left Democrat like Sonny Hostin, Anna Navarro, and Whoopi Goldberg. They've allowed themselves to somehow, some way, just transform and morph into crazy radical left progressives who agree with anything at all. I guess the propaganda, the Marxist propaganda, has worked on them, but for Fetterman, it has not. Shout out to him for standing his ground, especially against Sonny Hostin, who pulled the worst quotes from Bernie Sanders to try to pretend like, well, it's just what Bernie said, and they're gonna throw in at the end, well, I agree with it too. Like, Sonny, if you got something to say, be more direct. Just be like, I think you crazy and feckless and all this other stuff that she be liking to say. when people ain't on her show confronting her to her face, but all of a sudden the Fetterman, she's gonna say, well, Bernie Sanders said it. Like, girl, you need to go sit your goofy ass down. But anyway, guys, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out. Big shout out to my members, 655, Cat 3309, and Noodle. Could not do it without you.
As a Democrat, and I think that's been described, country over the party, and now that I think that's been the truth throughout it, and it's only wrong to shut our government down, and I'm relieved. But the people now that are going to get paid and fed, and millions of Americans, they're going to be flying now, that's going to be made more safe and restored.